Hello and welcome to this new lesson in which we are going to talk about object-oriented programming. Now, what is object-oriented programming? Object-oriented programming, or in short OOP, is a computer programming model that organizes software design around data or objects rather than functions and logic. An object can be defined as a data field that has unique attributes and behavior. Object-oriented programming focuses on the objects that developers want to manipulate rather than the logic required to manipulate them. This approach to programming is well suited for programs that are large, complex, and actively updated or maintained. This includes programs for manufacturing and design, as well as mobile applications. For example, object-oriented programming can be used for manufacturing system simulation software. The organization of an object-oriented program also makes the method beneficial to collaborative development, where projects are divided into groups. Additional benefits of object-oriented programming include code reusability, scalability, and efficiency. The first step in object-oriented programming is to collect all of the objects a programmer wants to manipulate and identify how they relate to each other, which is an exercise known as data modeling. Examples of an object can range from physical entities, such as a human being who is described by properties like name and address, to small computer programs such as widgets. Once an object is known, it is labeled with a class of objects that defines the kind of data it contains and any logic sequences that can manipulate it. Each distinct logic sequence is known as a method. Objects can communicate with well-defined interfaces called messages. Now, let's talk about the structure for object-oriented programming. The structure or building blocks of an object-oriented program include classes, objects, methods, and attributes. Classes are user-defined data types that act as the blueprint of individual objects, attributes, and methods. Objects are instances of a class created with a specifically defined data. Objects can correspond to real-world objects or an abstract entity. When class is defined initially, the description is the only object that is defined, while methods are functions that are defined inside a class that describe the behaviors of an object. Each method contained in a class definition starts with a reference to an instance object. Additionally, the subroutines contained in an object are called instance methods. Programmers use methods for subroutines or for reusability or keeping functionality encapsulated inside one object at a time. The last element here is attributes. Attributes are defined in the class template and represented the state of an object. Now they represent the state of an object and they will have data stored in the attributes field. Class attributes belong to the class itself. I know that things can be confusing, but what you need to know at this point is that in object-oriented programming, we have classes and we have objects inside these classes. We have methods that define the behavior of each of these objects, and the attributes are basically like variables in C. We will discuss all of these four in a practical examples in the coming lessons, so you don't have to worry about anything. Thanks for watching this lesson. I hope that now you have an idea about object-oriented programming. It's not like you have to get out of this lesson knowing how to program, but you just need to know some basic concepts called classes, objects, methods, and attributes, and what is object-oriented programming. Thanks for watching this lesson. See you next.